Alright, hey guys. This week we're going to talk a lot about Photoshop, and actually not just this week, but in the next few weeks we're going to be doing a lot with Photoshop. And even when we get into video editing and things like that, Photoshop is a useful tool to really know how to use, not just to edit photos, but to create graphics, text, and all sorts of different elements. So to start this lesson, we're going to go down to our applications, or click Finder and go into our applications folder to select Adobe Photoshop. And I am using Adobe Photoshop CS5. You are using CS6, so the graphic at the beginning may be different. But when it loads, it's going to look pretty much the same. And Photoshop is a pixel-based editing program that works a lot with layers, which is this module down here. And the best way to kind of show examples here in Photoshop is to just go up to File, and I'm just going to open a photo. So I have a few picked out here. Open this one. So Photoshop works in tabs. So up here you see that this image 7947 is tabbed right here. If I click the window button, you're going to see that the image is also listed down here. Window basically shows you the available modules that can be turned on and off. So right here you see adjustments is checked on. And if I look over here to my right, the adjustments button right here, the adjustments tab, excuse me, is on. I can go and click to turn that off, or I can go back and turn different things on. So character right here is checked on. That is this button, or this tab right here, and that controls text, the size of text, the type of text, different things like that. But there are a lot of different options in Photoshop, not just with the window view here, but over here in terms of the different types of tools. I will say that in the time that I have been using Photoshop, which has been at least 10 years, I have probably only touched about 50% of these tools, because the types of things that I'm doing in Photoshop, photo editing, photo cropping, fairly simple graphic design, it really shouldn't let it, what I'm trying to say is don't let the amount of tools intimidate you. There's a lot of things on here that we'll probably never touch, but for this class, it's really good to get a basic understanding of certain things. So here's the photo I just opened up, and if you don't see these guides up here, you want to go up to View and make sure your Rulers button here is checked on. And this is something we want to do anytime we open Photoshop in this class. We want to make sure the Rulers button here is checked. So you may get or open Photoshop and there's no guides or there's no rulers up here. Just go to View and click the Rulers button. And you want to make sure that the measurement here is in pixels. So if you control click that, pixels should be the one that's checked. I think the default setting may be inches, but for basically all the assignments that we're going to do here, we want to make sure we're in pixels. And pixels, if you're not familiar, is another form of measurement, and it's basically the standard measurement for all types of internet graphics and digital media graphics. So right now you can see that this is 0 across the top measurement here. This is 0 in this corner, and all the way over here is almost 5,200 pixels wide, which is a very, very big image. For most of your online graphics, if I go down here to Facebook, most of these are about 600 pixels. So I'm going to just control click this image to give you guys an idea, and just copy this image. Go to File, New, and we'll go over this here in more detail. But you can see that if I paste it in here, this image, this online image, is 960 pixels tall and 708 pixels wide. And that's about as big as online images really get in terms of being able to quickly browse a web page that has a lot of images. You don't want to make your images much bigger than that. So when you shoot pictures, the default camera settings usually are a lot bigger than the way you want to display those photos online. So I just want to show you a very basic Photoshop tool, and that is the cropping tool. And if we go over here to the left, you're going to see that I've been using the very standard Move tool. And that's the very first tool over here on the left. And to click the Move tool, you could either press V as the keyboard shortcut, or just go over here and click the icon. But 1, 2, 3, 4 down from the Move tool is the Crop tool. And I'm going to click that, And just like the Move tool, there is a keyboard shortcut to that, and that is C. And the crop tool is pretty easy to understand if you've never heard the phrase before. It basically just means that you are selecting a certain part of the photo and you're going to delete the rest. And if I click here and I drag, you're going to see this dotted marquee kind of highlight where I'm dragging. And if I let go of it, it's going to highlight the center part, and the part around the area that I have not chosen is going to be darkened. And you can do this to change the focus of the photo. If you want to zoom in a little bit, I can click the corner here and change the shape from horizontal to vertical. Cropping can do any number of these things, and let's say, if just for this example, if I want to turn it into a vertical photo, if I press return or enter, it's going to crop it, so it's just going to choose the selection that I had chosen, and the rest of it is deleted. So I'm going to go back to what it was, and to do that I'll just press Command Z or Edit Undo, and I want to make this photo a specific width and height in pixels. So you're going to see up here is the Options tab, or the Options toolbar, and with every one of these different modes that you select, there's going to be different options that you can modify, and all of those are up here in the Options toolbar. So crop is no different. So with the crop button selected, you can actually go up here and choose what you want the width to be, what you want the height to be, and then what you want something called the resolution to be. So for the sake of this example, I want to make the photo 600 pixels wide by 400 pixels tall, and I want the resolution to be 72. And I'm going to talk about that here in 1 second, but let me just type in these values. So 600 for the width, and I'm going to type 600 px. Then I'm going to select the height and type 400 px. And then in the resolution, I'm going to click 72. Now, the resolution basically stands for pixels per inch. And if you are working in a printing-based medium, magazines, newspapers, things like that, you typically want the resolution to be about 300 pixels per inch. But with web-based processing, 72 is the standard resolution, and that gives you basically the same look as you would get from a printed out photo. It looks basically the same online at 72 ppi. So when we're doing web-based graphics and those type of things, you want the resolution to be 72. And if you're ever dealing with a standard setting here in Photoshop, it's usually going to set the resolution at either 72 if you're working in an online medium, or 300 if you're working in a print medium. So for the sake of this example, it is going to be an online photo, so to say, so we're setting this at 72. So once I click off of this back onto the photo, and I draw the crop tool again, you're going to see that it is automatically resizing that crop tool in the shape that would be 600 by 400 pixels. So if I let go of it here, this highlighted version here, if I would press enter, would be 600 pixels wide by 400 pixels tall. Now I can click this corner here and drag it so that I get more of the focal point of the photo, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I want to put the boat right in that bottom lower third of the screen. And as you can see, this goes back to the rule of thirds. It has the two vertical lines and the two horizontal lines, so I want to put this boat here right in one of the crosshairs, and maybe bring this up a little bit more to get the top of the roof. And with that, I'm just going to press return. And Photoshop automatically kind of scales it down and resizes it. So to zoom back in on the photo, I'm just going to hold Command and the plus sign, or you could press Command minus to change that. But as you do that, you can see down here it gives you the actual percentage that you are zoomed in. So this is 100% of the image. This is 600 pixels by 400 pixels. And that is the basis of cropping. And you could do that with a set amount here by changing the width and the height, or you can, if I delete these figures, you can crop it to whatever size you want, and it's pretty easy. So if you understand cropping, we'll be able to use that a little more heavily on Wednesday with a set exercise that we have, where we're going to crop some of the photos that you turned in the photo slideshow into a collage. But this is the basis of cropping.